Hey folks, welcome to CES 2020. I'm here at the OnePlus event, and this is the OnePlus Concept One. It is a concept phone that they brought here to CES. They've been teasing us about this phone for a couple of weeks now. And at first sight, when you look at it, it looks kind of familiar. And that's probably because it's based on a OnePlus 7T Pro. So in terms of a lot of the details here, things like the pop-up camera and the general chassis design, it's pretty much a OnePlus 7T Pro. But now, what's cool about this phone is that it has a leather back, and you can see that OnePlus branding, the McLaren branding here, and this is the exact same orange leather that's used on the McLaren 720S. So it's pretty nifty, feels really premium, really nice in hand. And to make it even more premium, they've made the edges of all the aluminum parts is this gold color, and this is actually a PVT coated aluminum, physical vapor deposition, a process by which you can coat a metal. And so they've coated this aluminum with gold, which is kind of unusual. Nobody's ever coated aluminum before with PVD. So what else is there to tell you? Well, as you notice when I showed you the little tour all the way around, there is no camera visible anywhere, right? That's because it's actually hidden. So let me show you how that works. If I turn on the camera by double tapping the power button, boom, here it is. It's hiding under this piece of glass. That's because it's electrochromatic glass. And electrochromatic glass is a special kind of glass that allows light to go through or not go through. It's actually used on a bunch of applications today, like a McLaren 720S sunroof and like the Boeing 787 Dreamliner's windows. So you've probably seen it before if you've traveled a bit recently. But what's interesting about this here is that they had to make it really thin and really fast, because notice, when I turn off the camera, it disappears. When I turn it back on, it reappears in a pretty fast amount of time. So that's actually the world's fastest and thinnest electrochromatic glass. It's 0.35 millimeter thick and 0.7 seconds to turn on, which is kind of a feat. So OnePlus had to kind of develop the technology to make that happen. And you're gonna say, so, okay, we've got a premium phone with some interesting aesthetics. What's the big deal, right? This is just cosmetic. Well, it's not, actually. There's an advantage to having an electrochromatic glass on the back like this. You can have a neutral density filter. So you can darken this piece of glass to let less light through to the camera. Let me show you how that works. So in Pro mode here, I now have a histogram. If I set the ISO really low and the shutter speed really high, it's going to be too bright. So now I can turn on this neutral density filter and things are much more dim. And as a result, the photo quality is better. I can turn it off and it's brighter. And of course, the camera adjusts to that. But in some situations, outdoor, when you shoot manually like this, it'll be too bright. So this neutral density feature is really cool. When I switch it over like this and I tap here, you can see how without the neutral density filter, you can see the cameras. With, they kind of hide. They're still there, but faintly. So that's basically what the Concept One is all about. McLaren and OnePlus collaborated to make this happen. And OnePlus is hoping to take this technology to some of their phones in the future. Right now, they are not going to sell this. This is a concept. And as I said, it's primarily based on the OnePlus 7T Pro anyway. So in the future, eventually, we're going to see this apply to some OnePlus phones. And there's not just this cosmetic advantage, but this practical advantage of the neutral density filter, which I think is very interesting. And a lot of people don't seem to be catching that. Finally, I just want to point out that in terms of design, this adds to the material, the colors, and you now have this electronic element to design. You can use electronics to change the way the phone looks and feels. And I think in the future, we might see this electrochromatic technology used for changing the colors of certain parts of the phone. I think it's cool. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. That's the OnePlus Concept One here at CES 2020. Please stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe, like the video, click the little notification bell below, comment below, tell your friends. And remember, all of this is part of the Mobile Tech Podcast. MobileTechPodcast.com is where it's at if you want to hear my thoughts on this. Listen to the show. We're on all the major platforms, Google, Apple, Pocket Cast, and Spotify. So subscribe and stay tuned for more. Cheers, everybody.